Yo, what's good, Bunk Band community? Hope everyone's doing well and healthy. Thank you for 20 subscribers. Today I will be back with another hot take. So alright, before you guys dislike the video, comment some fucking racist shit, I want you guys to hear me out, alright? Just give me a moment, alright? Just let me cook for a little bit, okay? Just let me cook, alright? Hear me out. Alright, picture this. When I ask you, who is the Bantamweight GOAT? A couple people, pop up, right? You might think Alja's the Bantamweight GOAT. You might think Dominick Cruz is the Bantamweight GOAT. Heck, even Dillashaw or Petr Yan. They're all great answers, right? However, no one can come to a definitive answer to who is really the Bantamweight GOAT. And if they do, Merab is always often left out. I'm here to support Merab, right? I'm a Merab lover. Okay, alright, chill. In all seriousness, I do have the facts, the receipts to back up my claims. Yeah, I get it. Merab isn't a champion, and he hasn't won any championship bouts yet, right? But I do believe there's a case where you can still become a GOAT of a division without even winning the championship, right? It's about the quality of wins that you have, right? Some people have Yoel Romero higher than Bisping. Fuck, even higher than, Rich Franklin, Luke Rockhold, bro. Even Chris Weidman, right? And they've all, became the middleweight champ. Yoel Romero haven't. That's just like fucking, just an example in which you can become the divisional GOAT without even capturing the bout, right? And Merab is one of those cases as well. All I'm trying to say is that you can become the GOAT of a division without even capturing the belt, right? And I believe Merab has accomplished that. Alright, let's just take Dominick Cruz for example, right? Let's analyze his resume. Alright, arguably Dominick Cruz's best win is against Demetrius Johnson. A lot of people would agree Demetrius Johnson is Dominick Cruz's best win. Yeah, that would be amazing, right? But that was at bantamweight. DJ at bantamweight? What the fuck? Are you just gonna count that? DJ at bantamweight is not the same as DJ in flyweight. They're two different fucking people. And prior to fighting Cruz, Demetrius Johnson's best win was against Miguel Torres and Damacio Page. The point is, DJ was a fucking baby back then. He was basically an amateur. He's fighting in a weight class higher than he should have. He's fighting in bantamweight when he should have been in flyweight. I get it, there was no flyweight division, right? But DJ was fighting people way bigger than him, and Dominick Cruz was one of the examples. And a lot of people gave Cruz a lot of credit for that. Bro, put this into perspective. It's like a prime light heavyweight John Jones fighting a person, a weight class below him. It's like John Jones versus, I don't know, fucking Calvin Gastelum. That's how it feels, right? So we're just gonna count this DJ win so highly, it doesn't even fucking make sense, right? I wouldn't even count this, as part of Dominick Cruz's best win, because DJ was literally a fucking baby back then, he's not the same DJ that we see in flyweight. Alright, arguably his second best wins are, Benavidez 2 times, Uriah Faber twice, which are, solid wins, right? They were good fucking contenders back then, top 5 fighters, right? At one point, I'm pretty sure Faber was a champion as well. Okay. So we're gonna count Faber, twice. That is a solid win, right? Benavidez twice. Considering, even though Benavidez was a flyweight, let's be real. Dominick Cruz is fighting fucking flyweights, right? His next best win is TJ Dillashaw. A split decision win, which some people thought TJ Dillashaw won, right? But we're gonna give him the edge, we're gonna count that as a solid win, right? So you're telling me Dominick Cruz best wins are TJ Dillashaw, Benavidez twice, considering he's a flyweight, right? And Faber twice. That's his best win. That's your GOAT. That's your bantamweight GOAT. Who has Dominick Cruz beaten that is a top 30 of all time? Heck, even top 35 of all time. I don't think Faber is a top 35. I don't think Benavidez is a top 35. Heck, I don't even think DJ Dillashaw is a top 35, right? And a lot of people will be like, oh my god, he beat DJ. No, we're not gonna count that. That was literally a shell of a DJ. A fucking baby DJ, right? He's fighting a bantamweight, in which his best wins at that time was against Miguel Torres and Damacio Page, fighting people fucking 10 times the size of him. We're not going to count that. I'll argue his recent win against Pedro Munoz, has a higher value than his win over Demetrius Johnson back in 2011. Alright, so you're telling me Dominick Cruz, you know, his best wins are over TJ Dillashaw, Benavidez twice, Uriah Faber twice, you know. That's your GOAT? That's your bantamweight GOAT? Anyways, a lot of people would argue that TJ Dillashaw is one of the bantamweight GOATs as well. You know, let's analyze TJ Dillashaw, right? His best win is against Renan Barão, you know, twice, which is a, you know, solid win. If you guys don't know, you know, Baral's best win is against Brad Pickler, you know, Uriah Faber twice, I'm pretty sure, right? You know, Barão is a solid fucking win, right? Cody Garbrandt twice, you know, back in the days, right? That was a good win, right? Corey Sandhagen is his, you know, arguably third best win, right? Corey Sandhagen, are we gonna value, you know, Corey Sandhagen that high, considering that it was a split decision win in which many thought Corey Sandhagen won? You know, but it's alright, we're gonna count it anyways, right? His best wins, you know, against Corey Sandhagen, Cody Garbrandt, and Barão twice, you know, Cody twice, sorry, as well. Those are his best win, right? That's your second bantamweight GOAT? Are you serious? Like, what wins does Dillashaw have, you know, which catapults him into the bantamweight GOAT discussion? What wins? Cody Garbrandt, I get it, he's a former champion. You know, Barão, former champion as well, you know, beat him twice. So Dillashaw beat two former champions twice, and then a split decision win against Corey Sandhagen, which is a top 5, you know, modern era contender, you know, which is a, you know, a solid win, right? That ages, you know, quite well. But other than the Barão twice, you know, and Cody Garbrandt twice, right? What does he have? You know, we're gonna act like Barão and Cody Garbrandt are, you know, top 40 fighters of all time, you know, which is fuck. Barão might make it into top, you know, maybe the top 50 of all time. But come on, man, that's a stretch, man. Like, who has TJ Dillashaw beaten that's a, you know, top 50 of all time, if we're being honest? Next up, I'm putting Aljamain Yan, you know, around the same category depending how you view it, right? Let's start off with Aljo. Aljo's arguably, you know, best win is against Cejudo, right? A split decision win against Cejudo, right? I do think Aljo, you know, edged it out, right? I don't think it should have been a split decision. I thought Aljo won that shit clearly, but his best win is against Cejudo, which is a top, you know, 25 fighter of all time. You know, solid win, right? That's an all-time great right there. His next best win is against Petr Yan, twice, right? It's hard to count the first win considering how hard Petr Yan was winning. You know, he was winning the fight arguably, right, against, you know, Aljo, until the illegal knee happened, right? And the second match, a lot of people thought Petr Yan won. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, Petr Yan, Aljo, you know, it's interchangeable depending how you view it, right? So besides the Yan win, right, and the Cejudo win, his next best win is against TJ Dillashaw. And we just talked about TJ Dillashaw being one of the bantamweight GOATs. You know, this would have been a great win if TJ Dillashaw wasn't, you know, fucking disabled, bro. Dude, man came in the fight with one arm. I'm not gonna sit here and count, you know, the win against TJ Dillashaw, you know, highly, right? It's still a win, right? But it's not a solid win, you get what I mean? I'm not gonna count that win as a solid win. So you're telling me Aljo is one of your bantamweight GOATs, you know? He beat Petr Yan, you know, twice, which is, you know, on paper is a good win, right? Cejudo, you know, solid win as well. But besides that, you know, he beat Dillashaw, a one-arm Dillashaw, right? Corey Sandhagen as well, right? You know, finished Corey Sandhagen as well. But come on, man. Corey Sandhagen is a top 5 fighter. I don't think Corey Sandhagen would ever be champ. You know, I would argue Corey Sandhagen's best win is against, you know, Song Yadong. You know, a lot of people be like, oh my god, you know, he beat Frankie Edgar. You know, he beat Marlon Vera. You know, Cheetah Vera, right? But come on, man. I don't think Cheetah Vera should have been, you know, top 5 anyways. Right, Frankie Edgar, bro. Come on, man. That guy was like basically retired, bro. Bro, it wasn't the same Frankie we saw, you know, 2010 when, you know, he became the lightweight champion. It really wasn't. It wasn't the same fucking Frankie, you know. He shouldn't even be fighting Corey at that time. Let's be real. All right, so Aljo, best wins, TJ Dillashaw. You know, one arm TJ Dillashaw. You know, okay, it's an okay win. Considering it wasn't a solid win, it's an okay win. Anyways, so Cejudo, top 25, you know, all-time fighter, right? That's a good win. That is a really good win. You know, I'm gonna count Corey Sandhagen anyways, but Corey Sandhagen, you know, top tier contender, right? And on paper, Petr Yan twice, right? That's a good resume for a bantamweight GOAT discussion. Let's talk about Petr Yan. Alright, Petr Yan's best win is against Jose Aldo. I get it, he's 135, right? But he's, you know, Aldo's still a good fucking contender, you know, in the 135 division. Obviously, he was a, you know, better fighter at featherweight. You know, Aldo's still a solid fucking fighter. We're not gonna count that out. Aldo is a top 10 fighter of all time, right? Yan beat Aldo. Yan's next best win is against Uriah Faber, right? And then he's also beaten Corey Sandhagen, which we talked about already, and John Dodson, right? John Dodson. You know, John Dodson is a top 5 fighter, you know. Well, not all time, but he, you know, back in the days, you know, he was a solid contender, you know, in the top 5, you know, rankings, right? Arguably, he beat Aljo twice, right? A lot of people would count that, you know, and arguably he'll beat Sean O'Malley as well, you know. And you know, if you consider those wins, you know, as a legitimate win for Petr Yan, then I guess he's you know, a part of the bantamweight GOAT discussion. But that's if you count those wins against Aljo twice, right? O'Malley win as well, you know. Those are all fucking close battles, right? But that's if you count those wins, right? Then he'll be a part of the bantamweight GOAT discussion. That's why I put Aljo and Petr Yan as interchangeable, right? If you think Aljo, you know, definitively, you know, beat Petr Yan twice, then obviously Aljo would be a part of the bantamweight GOAT discussions list. You know, if you thought Petr Yan beat Aljo twice, then Petr Yan will obviously be a part of the bantamweight GOAT discussion, right? That's what I mean, interchangeable, right? Let's talk about Merab now. To me, Merab is literally the fucking Khabib of the bantamweight, you know, division, right? A lot of people don't realize this. Think like this: Khabib is valued so high, you know, people rank him, you know, top 10 of all time, you know, top 15, some even top 5 of all time, right? Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? Not because of his wins, but how he beat those people, right? 10-8, 10-8, 10-8, literally fucking dominance, right? For example, Charles Oliveira, you know, beaten every single person that Khabib has pretty much beaten, right? Literally the same fucking resume, right? Heck, I would even argue Charles Oliveira has a better resume than Khabib, right? But the thing is, like, Charles Oliveira is always in a fucking war, right? It's always like a 50-50 fucking chessboard match, right? It's either kill or be killed for Charles Oliveira, right? It's never a dominance that Charles Oliveira display, never. But why is it that Khabib is valued, you know, ranked so highly compared to Charles Oliveira, even though Charles Oliveira has beaten pretty much every single one that Khabib has beaten? It's because we, as UFC, you know, viewers, as UFC fans, MMA fans, value dominance over anything else. And it's like, it's an unconscious thing that we don't realize, right? We value dominance, right? That's why Khabib is valued so high, right? In my opinion, Charles Oliveira should be higher than Khabib on the GOAT list, right? But that's not the case. That's not the case. Charles Oliveira isn't as dominant as Khabib. And the reason why I mentioned, you know, Khabib is, you know, is because of dominance, right? We value Khabib so highly because of dominance. And why don't we do the same for Merab? Why don't we, right? Considering who Merab has beaten, right? I'm pretty sure Merab has one of the lowest fucking finish rate. I think it's like 10% or something, right? But regardless of that, it's all been dominance, right? Every single fight he's fought, right, has been, you know, one-sided as fuck, right? Merab has been so dominant during those fights. Even the fights that he loses, he is dominant in them, right? For example, his fight against Ricky Simon, you know, in 2018, right? He was winning the fight until, you know, the last 30-40 seconds, right? But he survived ultimately, right? He should have won that match, considering you know, how the fucking rules is applied. You know, after a round is finished, you know, the fight is stopped. It should be stopped, right? But you know, they count it as a submission. But regardless, right? Regardless to the, you know, submission prior to that, he was dominant during that fight. Even this fight against Frankie, right? A lot of people thought, you know, he won, right? A lot of people thought it was actually a robbery. So we're not gonna count the Ricky Simon fight, you know, the Frankie fight, right? And we consider those two fights as, you know, a win for Merab, right? If we do consider those as a win, Merab is undefeated in the UFC, you know, if we consider those two fights as a win, you know. And the thing is, you can literally make a case for it, you know. It's not like some fucking out of the blue shit that I pull from my fucking ball sack, bro. You can literally make a case that Merab won those two fights, and he's ultimately undefeated in the UFC, right? But it didn't happen, so we're not going to count that. But you can literally make a case for it, you know what I mean? Regardless, his other 10 fights, you know, his other fights has all been 10-8, 10-8, 10-8, dominance, literally dominance, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and just say that he's fighting nobodies, because that's not the case. He's fighting fucking great fucking fighters, right? And I'm confident to say that even if he doesn't beat, you know, Sean O'Malley in the UFC sphere, even if he loses and get knocked out, I'm considering him the best fucking fighter to never win a championship, right? If he doesn't even win any championship in the future, he is, in my opinion, the best fighter to never have won a championship, right? I'm gonna say it right now. And people are crying and shit, you know, Belal should have gotten a title shot fucking a while ago. Yeah, true, Belal should have, but so should have Merab. Right? I would argue Merab, you know, have had a harder path to the title than Belal, right? I would argue that. Any day of the week, I'll argue that. Bro, Merab should have gotten a title shot 3 fucking fights ago, right? And we're out here giving it to fucking people like Chito Vera. Alright, let's analyze Merab's resume. Alright, and why I think he's really the bantamweight GOAT. We mentioned dominance, right? But it's who he displayed dominance over, right? Alright, let's start off with John Dodson, right? John Dodson, bro, I get it. He was a flyweight, right? But are we going to mention DJ as Dominick Cruz's best win? I feel like we should mention John Dodson as well. You know, a lot of people don't know about John Dodson, right? John Dodson is a top 5, you know, fighter in, you know, flyweight, bantamweight, right? He's a solid fucking contender, right? And Merab 10-8 him, right? Fucking dominated John Dodson, right? We're considering, you know, DJ as Cruz's best win, you know, people forgetting that Dodson KO'd Dillashaw, right? John Dodson beat Dillashaw. People forgetting about that, right? But, you know, I won't count that. But, you know, I feel like I should mention that, right? If you're going to count DJ, you know, losing to Cruz as, you know, Cruz's best win, then you should consider Dodson, you know, losing to Merab, you know, as one of Merab's best wins as well, considering that Dodson beat Dillashaw, right? It's ridiculous. But if you consider it like that, you know, then John Dodson is one of Merab's best wins as well, right? Next up, Merab dominated Marlon Morales, right? I wouldn't say dominated, but finished Marlon Morales, right? The first round was really fucking competitive, right? To the point where Marlon Morales, you know, almost fucking beat Merab, right? But Merab came in clutch with the fucking second round, right? Anyways, Marlon Morales, a lot of people forget about him, right? Marlon Morales beat John Dodson, heck, even Aljamain Sterling, right? Jose Aldo, these are all fucking all-time greats, right? He went on to challenge Henry Cejudo, in which he lost. But the point is, Marlon Morales is a top-tier fighter. You know, a lot of people overlook him. You know, a lot of people forget about, you know, Marlon Morales, you know. And Merab beat him, you know. A win over, you know, someone like Marlon Morales is pretty much the equivalent of a modern-day Corey Sandhagen. You know, I would argue that, you know, a win over Marlon Morales is the same as a win over Corey Sandhagen, right? They're basically the fucking same, you know, in terms of, you know, rankings wise, you know, skill wise, right? I get it. It's a little bit of a stretch. Hear me out. The next 3 is what catapults him so fucking high, right? He beats Cejudo, you know, in a dominant fashion, a 10-8 fashion. You know, Cejudo, a top 25 fighter of all time, right? These are all-time greats, right? People forget Henry Cejudo beat people like TJ Dillashaw, one of your bantamweight GOATs, right? Dominick Cruz, one of your bantamweight GOATs, right? He beat people like Marlon Morales, right? In a close war against Demetrius Johnson, which is, you know, Demetrius Johnson is a top 5 fighter of all time, right? A win in a fashion like that over Henry Cejudo catapults Merab so fucking high, right? And that's not even the, you know, that's not even the end of it, right? Prior to that, he beat Jose Aldo, arguably a top 5, you know, in my opinion, a top 10 fighter of all time. Jose Aldo, one of the greatest fucking featherweight of all time, right? I get it. It's you know, a bantamweight fight. You know, Jose Aldo isn't a 135 fighter, you know, but he's still an amazing 135 fighter. You know, arguably a top 5 fighter at bantamweight. Right, he's beaten the likelihoods of Chito Vera, right? Pedro Munoz, who is a top 10 fighter in the recent era, right? Recently beat Jonathan Martinez, right? Jose Aldo ain't no bum, right? Jose Aldo, that is a fucking solid win, right? This is, you know, one of the all-time greats as well, right? You know, I'll say it right now. At this point, Merab should have gotten the title shot, right? After beating someone like, you know, Aldo, or even Cejudo, he should have gotten the title shot, right? And then he goes on to beat Petr Yan. Petr Yan, who's considered one of the bantamweight goats as well. The top 4 bantamweight goats, yeah, in a 10-8 fashion, right? Some people have it 50-44, right? 50-43, right? Bro, he gave Petr Yan PTSD, bro. Jeez. How the fuck are you gonna do that to someone like Petr Yan, right? When we talk about Khabib, we talk about dominance, right? When we talk about Merab, we talk about dominance as well, right? Dominate all these fucking great all-time fighters, right? And you could people be like, oh my god, they're out of the prime. No, they weren't, right? Jose Aldo was what, 34 when he fought Merab, right? And Merab dominated him. Petr Yan is still in his prime, right? We're gonna act like he's out of his prime because he lost to, you know, Aljamain Sterling twice in a close fucking war, right? Henry Cejudo, right? People gonna act like he's not in his prime, right? He came back and, you know, went into war against Aljamain Sterling, you know, a split decision war against Aljamain, almost won that fucking match, right? You know, he lost literally a round. You know, if he won that round, he could have won, you know, the bout again, right? And then he came back, fought Merab, and lost in a dominant fashion, right? Undisputed, right? Clear fashion. Merab beat Henry Cejudo in a fair and square, dominant fashion. We're gonna act like Henry Cejudo is out of his prime because of that? What the fuck? All being said, Merab beat, you know, think about it, dominance, right? Dominance, right? Beat Petr Yan, who's arguably one of the bantamweight goats in a dominant fashion. Petr Yan, Jose Aldo, who is a top 10 fighter of all time, one of the greatest fighter of all time, in a dominant fashion. Henry Cejudo, who is a top 25 fighter of all time, one of the goats, right? And we're talking about flyweight, he's, you know, one of the greatest, right? Bantamweight, one of the greatest as well, since he's captured the belt, right? Against someone like Dominick Cruz, right? He's arguably one of the greatest bantamweight as well. Beat Dominick Cruz. Merab beat, you know, Henry Cejudo, right? He also beat people like Marlon Moraes, John Dodson, you know, considering they're lesser names, right? But they're still fucking great fighters, right? If you're gonna count the DJ win, you know, for, you know, Dominick Cruz, you should at least count the Marlon Moraes win, right? As well as the John Dodson win as well, right? How is Merab not the bantamweight GOAT after what I've just said? Dominant fashion, right? If you can consider Khabib as, you know, the lightweight GOAT considering his dominance, right? Even though there's so many other people, you know, Dustin Poirier, right? Fuck, even Islam Makhachev or, you know, Charles Oliveira, you know, they all have better resume than Khabib, you know. If you can consider Khabib's, you know, dominance so highly, right, and rank him so high because of his dominance, right? Why don't you do the same for Merab, right? I do think Merab is the bantamweight GOAT. And if Merab goes on to beat Sean O'Malley, I do believe that it becomes, you know, literally end of discussion that Merab is really the undisputed bantamweight GOAT of the division. That doesn't even make sense, but yeah, he becomes the bantamweight GOAT, right? I do want to say thank you guys again for 20 subscribers. I read every single comment, you know. I love you guys. You guys are the best, man. Just let me know what you guys wanna see next, you know. And sorry for like not posting consistently, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, like the video if you do like the video. And yeah, see you guys. Hope you guys stay, you know, nice and healthy and shit. You know, do like 10 push-ups right now because, you know, it's good for you. And yeah, laters.